girl, welcome back. Let's chat about the freaking Kickstarter. Oh my gosh, that is like so right. Just like right in my eye. So before we jump into anything, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around. What a joy. You can also like, comment, all that kind of fun jazz. So it would really help me out. All right, so let's chat about this freaking Kickstarter. So for anyone who doesn't know what's going on, I am currently in the middle of my Kickstarter right now for my first children's book. I wrote it, I illustrated it. I'll pop up some pictures here. So it does close November 21st. If you would like to go and pre-order your copy, that's kind of like the way I like to think about it. It's basically pre-ordering a copy. You get a bunch of fun limited edition extras that are only for Kickstarter backers. So if you want to go check it out, I'll have the link to it down below. I obviously really appreciate any support. I'd really appreciate it. But with being in the Kickstarter and starting one and having to talk about it and kind of sell it online, I wanted to share my feedback in case you're wanting to do the same thing. So Kickstarter is no joke. It is very, very stressful because obviously you go through, and what you'll do is when you're setting up your campaign, you can add on like pictures, you'll write a blurb, you can put up a video, which what I did. You have to create like the campaign kind of cover photo that would kind of hopefully draw people in. You have to set like your goal amount and a time limit on the entire thing. So with that being said, that's probably my first thing is the goal. So I did set the goal for me, I set it at $5,000 and I realized this was kind of a really big goal. This is not a small goal. And children's books already kind of have a hard time on Kickstarter as is. I just don't think they're as popular as maybe some of the other things on Kickstarter. So I think it's just a little harder. But so what I did is I did $5,000 and you have to kind of calculate in, there's fees that get taken out on the back end. So like if you hit your campaign goal, then you're going to have fees taken out for Kickstarter themselves and then also like your state. So you have to kind of factor that in. So that's why I set it a little bit higher. So then that way, once the fees get taken out, I still have enough money to cover the full run of books that I want to, like the quantity that I was wanting to get. And if you don't hit the campaign, you don't get anything. So it's definitely an all or nothing thing. So just keep that in mind. So just know if you don't hit it, kind of what are your next steps. So for me, I set it at 5,000 and now kind of looking back on it in retrospect, because once you actually start the campaign, you cannot change it. Like you can't change any of the details. So when it comes to setting your goal, what I would do differently next time is I would do a little bit less. Because if you can actually step in and cover a cost for like your books or whatever you're wanting to do, then I would just go with a lower goal amount. And then hopefully you hit a stretch goal, because you can exceed the limit that you set, like the goal that you set. But if you don't hit it, you don't get anything. So that's something that I would do differently, is I would definitely go a little bit lower. And then that way you're getting at least that amount of money to help. And then if you can cover it with your own personal costs, then I would just do it that way. Let's chat about the timeline. So most books that I've seen on Kickstarter have been, like when it comes to children's books, I would say on average are about 30 days. Some go a little bit longer. But here's the thing. You have to keep in mind, you have to keep up this energy to sell your book and to talk about your book constantly, because Kickstarter is not a build it and they will come situation. It is simply a place for people to go to help crowdfund your thing. But it's not a search engine. It's not gonna like just generate things for people so then they want to like back it. You have to sell what you're selling. So I decided, and this was based off of seeing other people who have done Kickstarters in the past, and honestly, this was like the best advice I could have gotten. I decided to only go for 21 days because I knew I was gonna go Mach 10 on the thing. So, and it's a lot of energy to have to keep up, because anyone who's been following me on social media knows that as soon as this Kickstarter started, I was going ham. Like I was pedal to the metal. I have put all my energy into talking about my book, selling it. I'm making reels. I'm putting out several reels a day. I'm putting on TikTok. I'm also putting it like on YouTube Shorts. I'm talking about it on YouTube. I am doing every avenue that I can think of. I'm texting friends and family, and I'm not asking anybody specifically to back it. I just don't do that. All I ask is I send people the campaign, and then I just say, hey, like if you guys wouldn't mind spreading the word. I'm also posting like on my private Instagram account, like where I follow like friends from high school and like other friends and family and things like that. So I am doing everything I can to get the word out as much as possible. So you have to keep that in mind when you're setting the time frame. So if you can keep it going for longer than 21 days, that's awesome. But I am, what am I, like a week in? I think I'm about like a week in, and I'm to almost $900 last time I checked it. And it just takes a lot of legwork to keep up that kind of energy, because not only are you trying to sell your book, but for a lot of people, you're also trying to explain what a Kickstarter is. So you're having to do this kind of educational piece on Kickstarter, like what it is, what's the point, what are the benefits, what are the perks, but then at the same time, you're trying to sell your book at the same time. So it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of work to kind of keep this going for however long your campaign is. So just keep that in mind. So one thing I would do differently about the Kickstarter is I would have had it up on Kickstarter longer as a coming soon thing, because there are chunks of people who like are kind of habitual Kickstarter backers. You know, they find enjoyment in going in on Kickstarter and finding projects they love and then backing those projects. So there are chunks of people like that. So in order to appeal to them who don't follow you on social media, then it gives them time to see things and favorite things. And that way, when they come live, they can go and support it if they still choose to do so. I mean, I do have to say, and I would not change this, is I talked about it like coming up on my social media quite frequently. So as I was kind of finishing off the book and it was coming time to start the Kickstarter, I was talking about it very, very often. So then that way when I actually started it, it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like, what is this? Like, why is she doing this all of a sudden? So I definitely knew, I was telling people like, this was my plan. This was where I was going with everything. And so I'm really glad I did that. That way people just knew what to expect. So let's chat about rewards, because this is something I'm actually really proud about. I tried to be really creative with the middle and top tier. And I've even had a few people reach out to me and express that they are excited for the rewards. So the thing with Kickstarter, it gives you an opportunity to give a little extra something to those people who choose to back you now when you're in just the kind of the startup area of your business, or if you're just wanting to just sell your books, you know, you're just wanting to self-publish and you just want to do that. For me, I have a whole company kind of based around this whole thing. I've kind of started my own self-publishing company. And so I wanted to do something really special for these people who are choosing to back me now, which means the world. Anytime that you can be kind of submersive in an experience, I really enjoy that. So with that, with my middle tier, I decided to give them 5 of Mother James's best recipes. So this is Theodore's mom. She gave me the recipes, and they're gonna be on like little recipe cards. And this is also something that people can use like over and over and over again. And then every time they pull it out, it's just something, you know, where they can just kind of, it's like a fun memory, you know, like, oh, this is from that children's book, you know, and it's just kind of more of a submersive experience. And I'm a sucker for that. So that's why I decided to do that. So that's on my middle tier. Also for my middle tier, they also get a copy of the book. Obviously, it's a hardcover copy. It's excellent quality. I'm very, very excited for the book. It's exactly what I wanted. It's not some like cheapo, like $5 book or whatever. It's a very, very beautiful book. It's gonna have like a matte finish, gold foil lettering. I'm gonna autograph all the copies for like the middle and top tiers. And so they also get the copy of the book, and then on top of it, they're also gonna get a bookmark. So one thing that I have done and that I would really recommend for anyone who's doing this Kickstarter is give your Kickstarters limited edition items. So all the items that the people are getting for the Kickstarter are things that will not be sold during like when my company actually launches in February. So I'm going to have different designs for like bookmarks and different things like that. But for the Kickstarter specifically, like the bookmarks they get and the coloring book pages and those kinds of things, those are not going to be for sale once the launch day actually comes. It gives extra incentive, I think, for people, but it's also a way for me just to thank people and give them something extra special that no one else will have after the Kickstarter. And so that's what everyone's getting for the middle tier. So for the middle tier, and I also set it at $25. So you have to keep it realistic for people, but you also have to keep it realistic for yourself too. So like the cost of everything, you have to keep that in mind. I mean, so my book, once it actually goes, like launches, like when it actually launches, the price point is going to be $19.99. So for $5 more, people are getting, you know, the bookmark and the recipes, and they're getting an autographed copy of the book. So you have to kind of keep everything in perspective too. So you have to be like realistic. And then for my top tier, that's going to be $50. And they're going to get the book that's going to be autographed. They're going to get 2 bookmarks. So they're going to get the one style from the middle tier, but then they're going to get an additional style as well. So it's going to be really fun. And then they also get 5 coloring book pages, and they get the 5 recipes as well. So that's what everyone's getting for the top tier. And so I feel like I've kept everything kind of in appropriate money amounts for whatever works for people. And if people don't want to do the full 25, then I also have a $10 tier where you get a social media shout out. But the cool thing is with Kickstarter too, is that people can even pledge just $1 to back the campaign. And they don't get anything like physical, but they get to back the campaign just because they believe in it. Okay, so time for my true frustrations with Kickstarter. So this is like my big thing, and this is my problem. So I have been double checking Kickstarter, and my campaign is like nowhere to be found when you search children's books. And the big problem that comes in is like Kickstarter doesn't have a direct phone number to call, like for customer service. They only have like an email to send stuff to, like if you're having issues on something or whatever. And that's where my problem comes in, because I emailed them a couple days after it started, once I noticed, and it took like another day or so to hear back. And all I got was this pretty much just like auto-generated text, or yeah, it was like generated text that basically said like, yeah, you know, we recommend, you know, selling on, like talking about it on Instagram and on Facebook and different avenues and blah, blah, blah. So that didn't really help me at all, because I don't really think they understood like what I was saying. Like, I'm not saying that people aren't coming and just backing my campaign just to back it. I'm saying that my thing is literally not showing up. And I'll have the video here of me scrolling, and you can't see my campaign. And I'll have like the picture up over here of what my campaign looks like. And I scroll and scroll and scroll. And the way that Kickstarter is like laid out is it has like all the live campaigns, and then it goes to like ones that are coming soon, and then the ones that are like successful completed. So I just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and mine's nowhere. Like the only way you can find it, and I even had my husband do it too, just to make sure I wasn't going crazy. The only way you can find it is if you go to children's books, but then you go by location, and then it pulls up it by location. So I don't understand like what's going on there. And then I sent another email, and then it's been like a huge like circle around. So I would just know if that happens, it's going to be very frustrating to try to get in contact with anybody. And I've also like messaged them on Instagram too, to see if I could get a quicker response. And I've gotten no response. So there's that. So just know, if you do this kind of stuff, there might be some headaches involved, and you can't really get a hold of anybody. So just really, you shouldn't really rely on it anyway, but you just want to know, even if you don't hit the campaign, that you've done everything that you can. And that includes just being able to have it seen, like just being able to get eyes on it is awesome, you know? And so, because like I said, there are chunks of people who are habitual Kickstarter backers. That's something that they enjoy doing. And so if they don't even see it when they're just kind of scrolling through different categories, I mean, you're kind of missing out on a whole chunk of people who would potentially back your project. Okay, so big question. Would I use Kickstarter again? No. I don't think I would use Kickstarter again. If I did, I would definitely like lower the campaign amount. I would keep it to 21 days, but with the additional fees added on it and not being able to like get in contact with people when I've had issues, it's just been very frustrating, and I feel like my hands are kind of tied in a sense. And so that's been really frustrating. I think next time, like if there was to be a next time, I don't think I would do this like again, because honestly, I just need the help with like the first initial run of books. But then after that, I'll be able to manage everything and then, buy new books from the profits of the other stuff, so I won't need help there. But if I was to kind of go back in time now with retrospect that I have, I would find a different way to kind of do just pre-orders for people, and maybe just try to find a different way to fund it all. Because is it worth the stress? I don't know. I honestly, it's kind of hard to say. And I think I wouldn't change anything that I've done on my end. I think I learned a lot from what I've been doing. It's a hard question. I mean, I think Kickstarter is great because it gives like validity to what you're doing. Overall, I think it has like a positive taste in people's mouth. I have heard some horror stories from like different people, but I think overall it does give some validity to what you're doing. But is it worth the stress? That's kind of something that you have to decide yourself, like something you have to decide if you're willing to kind of take that on. Because it is a lot of stress. It is very stressful to keep up this amount of energy for this long. So, and trying to, sell people on your book and your concept and what you're doing, but then also have to educate them on what Kickstarter is and those kinds of things. So I would just kind of keep that all in mind. And I would definitely go through and just kind of search and see if there's other things you want to back. And if you're wanting to do a Kickstarter, I would definitely go on and just get yourself familiar with the process, and maybe even back a few projects in the meantime, just to kind of see what the process is like, and if it's something that you can kind of speak to from your own experience of like backing things. So there are definitely there are a few children's books that I think are really cute. There's some that are up and coming that I've even saved myself that I want to back once they go live. And so it's like, I love supporting other like independent people. I support independent like musicians and other things like that. So I really try to support people where I can. But I also support people that I truly believe in, and I want people to do the same for me. So there are some people who do Kickstarters that say, oh, we'll just do like a swapsies, like a tradesies where, you back theirs and they back yours kind of thing. And I just don't, that's just not me. That's not my taste. I don't, teach his own. If that works for you, that's great. I just want people to back me because they truly believe in what I'm doing and they really want to see my children's book. I put a lot of time and energy into this, and I know people will enjoy it. I know people will love the story and the characters, and I hope they'll love the artwork. And it's just something I put my heart into. And so I want people to see it and like really be excited for it, and not just back it because I backed theirs, So I think it just kind of takes away the specialness of it. And so that's why every single person who has backed me has just meant so much, because it's not just like them putting their order in and getting all the like the fun extras and stuff like that. It's no, like these are people who are backing you in the very, very beginning of whatever you're doing. So these people are like the ones who like really, really believe in you. And it honestly, it really sends just like a beautiful message. And it really does mean a lot. And that's why I get like emotional about it, because it's like, I don't know these people, and it just means a lot. So anyway, Kickstarter itself, don't know about you. The Kickstarter backers, y'all are awesome. And I have loved being able to like give special things to the Kickstarter backers. And the whole thing is just really, that whole part is really, really fun. And it's been really exciting to kind of see the people backing me. So I am super excited, and I still have full confidence that I can hit it. I'm just still having to keep up that energy for the remaining time. So, Like I said, if you're interested in seeing my children's book, I'll have the link down below. If you want to kind of go back and you can see the kind of behind the scenes of it all. I've been documenting the entire process like on Instagram, so you can kind of go back through and you can see the process. I've been working on this book for almost a year, and so it's so surreal. It's even here now. I just can't even, like, I got a file from my printer, and it was like a rendering of like the book, like per page, and it was like surreal. Like, to see, like, this sounds so dumb, to see the copyright page. I was like, this is gonna be a legit book. This is gonna be a legit book. So I'm sorry I don't have an actual sample of the book to show you guys, but I was able to go down and see the samples of their children's books, like of the paper that I chose, and I was able to see like the matte touch finish and things like that. So I was able to double check and make sure it was the quality I wanted. And it's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. So yeah. And the last thing I would say too is just have fun with it, because people can really pick up on your energy of it. And I've kind of found, I'm gonna have some of the reels up, I've kind of found this like random style. I just kind of fell into it one day where I'm just making myself look like a fool. And it's just kind of fun. It's just something fun to do. It's something different. So just kind of find your own little way to kind of sell it. I'm doing like a whole variety of different things, but it's just fun to kind of show your personality and really show the passion why you're doing this whole thing. So don't miss that opportunity to also sell yourself in the process, because people want to know that they're not only backing like a good story and a good product and a good book and things like that, but they want to also know that they're backing someone they believe in, you know, so you have to kind of sell yourself at the same time. So I hope you found this video informative. I hope it helps. I hope it clarifies a few things for you if you want to start a Kickstarter. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Please subscribe. I'd love to have you around here. Please like and all that kind of fun jazz. So I will see you guys in the next one, and bye.